Hi, I'm Jean Edelman. For decades, I've been a student of the healing arts: Reiki, traditional Chinese medicine, homeopathy, acupuncture, plant-based, and macrobiotic cooking. Join me on this journey and hear my thoughts of the week. Great to be with you this week. We have been talking a lot about change, and we have been talking a lot about our habits and creating new ones. And I think I would be remiss if I didn't talk about our sleep. We take for granted a good night's sleep, yet it's so important for our emotional, physical, and our brain health. This is because our body regenerates when we sleep. We have a body clock, and I have spoken of it often. The trick for good sleep is a consistent routine. Now, it's easy when we travel and family is tugging at us that our routine gets a little wobbly. But it is vital for our long-term health that we stick to a very consistent sleep routine. Here are some tips to help us with our sleep routine so that we get prime rejuvenation time for our beautiful body. A consistent sleep schedule. We want to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time every day. We want to be in bed by 10:30 because remember, our body clock is beginning its rejuvenation cycle. And 10:30 just seems to be the magic time. I'll go into a little bit more about this in a bit. And the reason that 10:30 is our magic time and our body wants to start relaxing is because 11 p.m., our body clock, this isn't me, this is our clock, is starting to balance our hormones and beginning to detoxify our body. And so let's talk about, there's 8 quick tips on creating a consistent sleep schedule. So the first tip is have rituals. Do the same thing every evening. For instance, how about we take a warm bath or a foot soak or a warm shower? Do our light stretches, put our legs up against the wall, read, light reading, listen to music. Our pre-sleep activity, this should be very relaxing because what we're doing is we're signaling our body it is time to rest, it is time to begin our sleep. The second tip is to make sure that during the day, we are getting good movement and we're doing our heavier exercises in the morning or midday. We don't want to do this before bed. We do, however, want to get out and do a light stroll after dinner because this is relaxing. This will help us digest our food, and this is going to help us sleep. The third tip is to have a healthy diet. We want to stop eating 3 hours before bedtime because remember, the prime rejuvenation cycle is from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. And so eating plant-based as often as we can, this will be very, very helpful. Tip number 4 is caffeine and nicotine. These are stimulants and we all know it, and we really don't want to be drinking stimulants at 10 o'clock at night. But I do know people that do that. I don't think their body's very happy, but anyway. The 5th tip is alcohol. It is actually a sedative and it slows our brain activity. So we do want to stop drinking about 4 to 6 hours before we go to bed. And actually alcohol, as we get older, it really messes with your sleep. So pay attention. 6 is keep our naps short. We really don't want to take a nap for longer than 30 minutes during the day. We want a short 20-minute rejuvenation, refresh, reset ourselves. So short naps are good. Anything longer is going to mess with our sleep cycle. Number 7 is making sure that our sleep area is our sleep area. We don't want to be watching TV. We don't want to eat there. We don't want to use electronics, laptops, cell phones, tablets in our sleep area. We want to make sure our bedroom is dark and cool and quiet. And we also want to make sure there's no pile of clothes to put away. There's no clutter. There's no desks with reminders of things that we have to do. It should be clean and clear, and everything should be put away and should just be for sleep and rejuvenation. Number 8 is to manage our worries. If you are someone that wakes up in the middle of the night with your list of things, then jot them down. Tell yourself, hey, I wrote it down. I'll deal with it tomorrow, and go back to sleep. We may not be connecting the dots that our diet and movement affect our sleep, but I want to give us some examples of how wise and wonderful this body is. As I said, 7 p.m. to 3 a.m., this is our body's assimilation mode. This is when our body is taking in nutrients. So we don't want to be eating after 7 p.m. because our digestion is basically shut down because other systems in our body have taken over to do what they do. And then 3 a.m. to 7 a.m., that is our detox cycle. But I want to dive deeper into that because I know that some of us, we wake up during the night. And so here's an example. If we're someone that wakes up between 11 and 1 a.m., this is the time that our gallbladder, specifically our gallbladder, goes into its rejuvenation cycle. And so if we are waking up at this time during the night, we want to look at our diet. Are we eating fatty foods at dinner? Did we eat something especially heavy that evening at dinner? Because this is where we want to check our diet because it is affecting our sleep cycle. Maybe we want to eat that heavier meat or fattier meal at lunchtime so our body has more time to digest it. Because if we're eating it too close to our rejuvenation time, it's not going to have time to break down. So it's just something else to think about. If we're waking up at this time and we've had a heavy, super heavy fatty meal, that's the reason. We will want to eat a lighter dinner, skip those after dinner snacks, and again, stop eating 3 hours before we go to bed. Okay, so here's another example to dive deeper into our rejuvenation time. If we are waking up at between 1 and 3 a.m., this is our liver time. This is when our liver is specifically detoxifying. If we are waking up this time, we want to make sure that we're eating more whole foods, no processed foods. We really want to look at our alcohol consumption. We want to replace our coffee with green tea, and we want to get a lot more movement in our day because we want to circulate and we want to move things, and the liver needs movement. And so if we're waking up between 1 and 3, it's liver, and we really need to look at our movement and our foods. And then a third example of this is if we're waking up between 3 and 5, this is our lung time. This suggestion is that maybe during the day we need to get more breathing exercises in, more yoga, more, energetic walking maybe to boost that lung energy. And then 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., that's our large intestine time. And I think this naturally is a time where we may start getting up and get moving. This time of day, we just want to make sure that we're hydrated. We want to make sure that we start our day with maybe 6 to 8 ounces of water before we start drinking coffee and everything. And then again, our large intestine wants whole foods, a lot of fiber to keep things moving. And so these are examples. We've got our general assimilation time and our general detox time, but then within those times, you have very specific organs that are active. And so we can look at our diet, we can look at our activity, we can look at our hydration, and we can see how it's affecting our sleep. All right, here's our action item for the week. Next time, if we get up in the middle of the night, look at the clock, make a note of what time it is. We will be able to make some small changes so that we do get that full night's sleep. It's all connected. What we're eating, how we're sleeping, it's all connected. If we can connect those dots, we can make the small adjustments. We can get rid of the sugar. We can get rid of the caffeine here and there. It's all connected, my friends. Our sleep is our energy engine for the day. We need to keep the tank full. And it's best to listen and learn more about how this amazing body works. Pay attention. Make small changes when we need to. We will be happier and healthier for it. Join us next week on The Kitchen. We're diving into the fresh flavors of spring. Have you ever heard of a ramp? No, not the kind we drive on. Tune in May 15th to discover what a ramp is and why it might be your new seasonal favorite. Remember, my friend, this is Earth School. The lesson is love, to love ourselves and love each other. Life comes from us and life is for us. So be well until next week and pay attention to that body clock.